Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy E2 Blue coming back at you again. How y'all doing? Hey, as we like to say, Dallas Cowboys are the most hated and loved team in the NFL. A storied franchise that had success in its early years and in the last 24, 25 years have not had those successes. If you are a Dallas Cowboy fan, which if you watch this channel, most of you are, you know how hard it is to be a Cowboy fan and a true Cowboy fan at that. Now, there's always going to be trolls around. There's always going to be people that hate on things or whatever it may be. Whether it's a team or a certain YouTuber or whatever the case may be, it is what it is. But this Dallas Cowboy team has definitely lost a lot of luster. And if you are a true Cowboy fan, you know firsthand that it's not easy being a Cowboy fan. And, as a vlogger, as a YouTuber, myself, I try to bring all the positivity that I can about certain situations and use common sense and be smart when making judgments and opinions and things of that nature. Most of the time when I, speak on my channel, I speak from a perspective of not only my own personal views, but on what the team is doing and just things in general. Now, I love the fact that the way it's set up because, everybody has their different opinions. Everybody thinks different ways, which is awesome, because I feel like God gives us the gift to have our own opinions, and we should utilize that. And it makes for great debates. It really does, because, again, life would be boring if everybody was the same. Now, with that being said, our Dallas Cowboys are definitely lately hasn't been one thing to be desired about, but there is a lot of optimism there because it's not like we end up 4-12 every year. We have 8-8 seasons. We have 12-4 seasons. We have 13-3 seasons. We have, a lot of 9-7 seasons, and this year 10-6. So you look at our team as a whole, and you look at all the potential that we have with the players, different coaches that's come in and out, and a lot of people say that the Tony Romo era was wasted. You had consistent Pro Bowlers, you had past Hall of Famers on this team. You had guys that came through 2 years, 3 years at a time and came and left, but, had great seasons, but we never end up with the trophy at the end of the year. And I know as a fan base, I know it's frustrating, guys, and I know that, it's even harder because the way that the talking heads and the haters out there, how much they talk about it and how much they say the negativity. Look, what they say don't matter. It is what it is. If you're a real fan, you're not going to let it get to you. But I look at it like this. As a YouTuber, I try to bring the fan base back together as a unit, because one thing about our fans, we can't get messy. We can't be attacking each other. I'm all for the upliftment of our fans. And I think as a fan base, it's our job to root for the team, support the team. Yes, criticize when necessary, but at the same time, uplift each other, because we are all fans of the same team, and we can't crap on each other for having different opinions. So we can't do that. So as I delve into these Dallas Cowboys, first of all, shout out to Dak and Amari for getting added to the Pro Bowl. Now, I was on Twitter and I was just looking at the feed, and I'm just like, people say the most harsh things, talking about, oh, well, Dak gets a consolation prize for going to the Pro Bowl. I mean, they don't give Dak or none of these guys in this offense any type of credit. It's crazy. Let's not forget that you ain't in the league. So for you as a person making that comment, talking about as a consolation prize, well, have you done anything like that? Because, they always say, oh, the Pro Bowl is crap. He can't be a Pro Bowler because he wasn't originally picked and this and that. And I look at it like this. I don't care about all that. The fact of the matter that he was even an alternate, because there's, you look at the rest of this league, everybody don't get to go to the Pro Bowl. There's a lot of players that play in this league for 10 to 14 years and never make it to the Pro Bowl. So with that being said, you still got to have the numbers. You got to have the, everybody says a popularity contest. Okay, well, look, if the Cowboys are the most hated, now technically they have 8 Pro Bowlers. Now, 2 of those guys ain't going. Tyron Smith and I think Zach Martin both backed out because, again, they're dealing with injuries and they're trying to get right for the season. They're trying to concentrate. I get that. I think Dak Prescott is deserving, and I'm going to tell you why. You got a guy that is in his just completed his 3rd year in the league, a guy that wasn't projected to be a starter, taking on the role as the starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, a franchise that's always criticized and the quarterback is always in the limelight. TMZ is always bothering the players and always trying to stir up drama within the team. They're always following the players and this and that and trying to make a story out of something that really isn't an issue. Like, for instance, I think this week, they went to, some of the players like Ezekiel Elliott and Connor Williams and some of the guys went to Las Vegas to go gamble. They can do whatever they want in their off time. This is the off season for them. As long as they're not doing nothing illegal, I don't see nothing wrong with it. Nobody comes to you when you're on your vacation from your job and say, "Oh, you shouldn't be going on vacation. You didn't get your reports in." Blah blah blah. I just look at it like this. People criticize for the dumbest things, and people judge people for the dumbest things. I look at it like this. I'm not God, and I can't judge. So I don't judge anybody. I look at it like this. I try to look at when people do and act certain ways. I try to look at it from a different perspective, a different point of view. Because, again, your life experiences are different than my life experiences. So for us to understand each other, we have to ask questions, and we have to try to be a little bit more understanding and caring instead of all the hate that we give people. It's ridiculous. It sucks. It really does. And it goes beyond playful banter. I'm all for playful banter and rival teams talking crap. I'm cool with that. But when you just keep attacking people and not giving them credit for the stuff that they do, I mean, come on now. Dak Prescott, going to the playoffs 2 out of 3 years he's been in the league. Technically had 3 winning seasons. 9-7 is still a winning season, whether you go to the playoffs or not. Technically, on the books, it's a winning season. Now, granted, you always want to go to the Super Bowl, but in the grand scheme of things, you had more wins than you had losses. So technically, that's a win. And then the fact of the matter that he took a team that came out in 3-5, won 7 out of 8 games, made it to the wild card round, beat the Seattle Seahawks at home, went to the Rams, played a decent game himself, and they just fell short. Now, there's a lot of factors that go into that, and I'll probably go into that in my year in review video that I'll be doing sometime this week, before next week. Because I gotta do certain research on that, because I'm trying to bring in, because I'm gonna pull up a lot of stats and stuff for that, so that may be a longer video. I just look at it like this. Either way, just let's just get a guy some credit, and it is what it is. I'm gonna congratulate him because I'm a fan, and it is what it is. So with that being said, the Jones family. This is, I think, the only NFL team that basically runs a big corporation, a big organization such as the Dallas Cowboys, like a mom and pop shop. Now, a lot of people that work for the Joneses really like working for them. And I mean like the lower level people, the people that work at the stadium, the people, some of them, even lower level, they may not get paid as much, but, Jerry Jones is one of those guys where, like, you can still see him. It's like, you can see your owner. He's there. But the negative that I would say about it is that, I know that they're all about money and business. That's important. You got to make your money. But they're too corporate sometimes in that aspect. It's like they want to be mom and pop, but they are still corporate in that aspect, because sometimes I feel like they don't put things in. When you see things breaking down in your team, and you see your team has talent, but you won't put the right people in place to win. I feel like Jerry Jones could have won many Super Bowls after 95, but he established his relationships with people and staff and coaches and coordinators too much that he didn't want to let certain people go. And I feel like he let the wrong people go sometimes. Yeah, Wade Phillips had a bad year. The team stopped playing for him. Yeah, he probably good that he got cut, but, you know, he cut Chan Bailey and Jimmy Johnson. And I mean, it's just, you know, people will argue that Dave Campos wasn't a great coach. And I understand that back in the day, he wasn't that great of a coach back then. But, you know, you look at when Bill Parcells came with this team, like he had issues with certain coaches and stuff that like I feel like he let the wrong ones go, but let the ones that should have left stay too long and kind of held back the team a little bit. Now, fast forward to today's time. Those of you that are in your 20s or, you know, younger than that, only know of this time, only know of the Tony Romo and Jason Witten era. You guys don't really know much before that. But, you know, as we talk about today's time in the Dak Prescott, I'm not going to say dynasty yet, but the Dak Prescott era, the start of the era for Dak Prescott, these are important years for Dak Prescott. And as I sit here and I look at this team, the last 3 seasons since Dak became the quarterback of this team, I give Dak high praise for the simple fact that a young guy coming in is being poised as him and just eating all of that hate that comes his way. Put yourself in Dak's shoes. You are the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. There's news articles every day. You got Stephen A. Smith. You got Shannon Sharp. You got all these people talking. Now, some of the smart talking heads know better. They know what Dak can do. But they're speaking like me, like true people would. Facts. That he needs a better coordinator. Now, they finally fired Scott Linehan. So I look at it like this. Stephen Jones is probably thinking in his head, like, look, we need to be winners. We need to stop with this crap. If you notice that Jason Garrett, there was talk earlier, a couple of weeks ago, about him getting an extension. Well, seems like after the season, all of a sudden that changed after they lost that playoff game. And I'm not saying that he won't still get his extension, but what I believe is he's still got 1 more year on his coaching contract. So what they should do is let him ride out that year, see what he does this year with him calling the plays and what they're going to do. And I feel like keeping Kellen Moore, hiring Kitna, was a ploy for Jason Garrett. This is his last-ditch effort. Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones probably had a conversation when I'll allow you to keep Kellen and these certain things, but if you don't win with these pieces, you and them got to go. So I feel like this is Jason Garrett's last-ditch effort to do the things and do the right thing and stop with the conservative crap. Now, as fans watch the game, we see things from a whole different perspective than what the inside organization is, because you don't know what's going on behind the scenes unless it's put in daylight. There's been many players that fired off about the way they feel about Scott Linehan and his offense and what the team is doing in general. Dez Bryant, Bryce Butler, Allen Hurns, Amari Cooper, and even Cole Beasley. All of these guys, which are wide receivers, 2 of them don't play for this team anymore. But it started with Dez. And when Dez said something, they wanted to shut him up and get him out of here. Because, again, I feel like stop shutting up players. And I understand that players shouldn't say certain things to the media. But at the end of the day, this is how they really feel. And these players really genuinely want to play for this team. They want to win with this franchise. But when you have a coaching staff that lets you down consistently and keeps doing the same crap that doesn't make sense over and over again, that's the problem. Anytime you have, and I'm talking about media outside of the Cowboys brass, you're talking about like these media outlets out here that are saying the same thing. Scott Linehan is playing vanilla. Scott Linehan doesn't seem like he's calling the plays like he should. Jason Garrett, why is Jason Garrett not stepping in and doing things? Why is Jerry Jones allowing this to happen? I'm going to put the blame on the Joneses. I will do that. As much as I respect Jerry Jones for all that he has done for the NFL, and he deserved it, well deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. He made so many changes to this NFL that we now do. Like a lot of people that are in the media section, they have jobs because of Jerry Jones. These sponsorships, Mark's wife working for United Way. These are partnerships with the NFL. So you look at these things would not be possible if Jerry Jones did not. He was one of the pioneers that helped that, and I respect him for that. But Jerry Jones is old now, and I think that he needs to step down as far as now. If you notice, he's kind of dwindling away as far as being all up in the mix like he used to be. Now he's giving that reign to his oldest son, Stephen Jones. And Stephen Jones is kind of more no nonsense. He doesn't really value the relationships as much as Jerry does. So he's the type of person that will fire you if need be. You know what I mean? Like, he's the one that's putting his foot in people's asses. So as far as Jason Garrett goes, in my opinion, his job is still on the line. And the Joneses are and should be tired of it. You deal with living with mediocrity since '95. We ain't won a NFC title game since then, and I was hoping that we were going to get there, but it didn't happen. But I am proud of Dak Prescott for being young and being poised enough to handle that job. And the players trust Dak. They like Dak. They don't say anything negative. And Alan Hearn said it himself, I feel sorry for Dak, because when Scott Linehan was calling the plays, it's like they handcuff him. They don't allow him to have full range of the playbook. Now, I understand in the beginning of his career, because of the simple fact that he was young, didn't know the full offense. But if you don't see what your quarterback can do, if you don't allow him to do more, all you're doing is hindering him. You're holding him back, and you're making him you're not letting him grow. It's almost like a butterfly in a cocoon. Before it comes out of the cocoon, it has its wings. It's basically like a worm. So it doesn't have wings. It's just crawling. Dak is in that cocoon stage right now. He's in that cocoon because this coaching staff has been holding him back and not letting him free. When you let Dak free, he will fly away. He will fly. He will do the things you can do. And I know you guys, we've talked about this many times, about Dak with the hurry up and the 2-minute drill, how awesome he is in that mode. You can see how comfortable he is. So as a play caller, common sense would tell you, not saying that you can't do that all game, but what I'm saying is have plays that you call, but give the boy some options so that when the defense is lining up, if he sees a certain formation that don't seem right, that don't make sense for what you called, he can audible out of that and change it and do what he needs to do. I go back to that Eagles game where Amari had that pop-up and Rasul Douglas, when Rasul Douglas tried to bat the ball, but it actually went in Amari's favor, and he still caught it and ran in for the touchdown for the win. That first touchdown he had that game was I don't know if it was supposed to be a stop route, run up 5-6 yards, stop, look back, get ready to receive the ball and run with it. Now they've been running 2 different routes with him: the short slant routes, the slant or the sluggo, and the stop routes. They were doing those the whole game. Now then you put in the factor that he said, no, give me a post. I can beat this guy one-on-one. And he's not going to see it coming because you have me running these same 2 routes and the defense is anticipating it. And I don't want them to jump the route and get an interception for a pick 6. Which was smart. And he said, hey, Dak, forget what Linehan doing. Give me the ball. Give me the ball right now. So, just trust me. Dak went against what Linehan did on that play. And I want to know what the conversation on the sideline was after that. And I know that after that, and I know that after Amari said what he said, about, you know, it being bland, that Linehan felt some type of way about it. Well, that's why Linehan don't have a job, because you're too busy focusing on the wrong thing. Your players are sitting here telling you that, hey, this is what needs to be done. We're out here on this field. These guys are checking him. A wide receiver knows who can check him and who can't. A wide receiver knows when he can beat somebody and when he can't. So why not have input from everybody? And that's what I think that they're going to do this season coming up. Jason Garrett's going to call the plays. Kellen Moore will have be the offensive coordinator, but not really. He'll just have that by name. But he mostly will. He may call the plays, but from Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett's going to manage the plays. Kellen's going to give the signals to Dak. John Kitna's coming in to directly work with Dak, help him with his mechanics, and that's what he needs. He needs somebody to come in and not just be a quarterback's coach in a normal game sense, but be that guy that's almost like a mentor. Since John Kitna played for this team, he knows. And I feel like it might work with him and Dak. Now, I'm not a fan of Kellen Moore being the offensive coordinator, but like I said before, for some reason, they know something that we don't. I don't know. Stephen Jones wants to win. And I know Jerry wants to win too, but sometimes I feel like their focus is too much with money and too much with marketing and advertising and things like that. Sometimes the fame of the Dallas Cowboys gets in the way more than the actual football. Remember, we're here because it's football. Now, I understand that there's a business side, and that business side sometimes gets a little out of the way because it blends in too much with what's going on with your team as a whole. You still got players that need to be paid. You got players that have needs as well. You have players that have good talent, but sometimes you don't do anything with them. I've said this over and over and over again since I've started this channel last year, that too many times we get a good player in here, we let him go. Even Patrick Creighton, former Dallas Cowboys wide receiver, was criticizing this team and the moves that they made. I don't want this team to drop the ball. I no longer want the Dallas Cowboys to be a laughingstock when it comes to stupid decisions and being bland. Hell, every team in the league that plays us, no, they don't have to game plan for the Dallas Cowboys like that, because they know how to beat us, because we do the same shit over and over and over and over again. It's like beating a dead horse. And I've been tired of it for a long time. And, you know, and I say I'm glad that Scott Linehan's gone. Yeah. The players are too. The players are glad. I want to know what Dak was thinking when that happened. He ain't going to say it. We'll never hear him say it. But I wish I was a fly on the wall in the room where he was at that time just to hear him say, woo, so glad he gone. I know Ezekiel Elliott happy. And that goes into what I want to talk about as well. Cole Beasley. Now, he took a shot at the front office in his, I think it was on Twitter or whatever. Cole Beasley's contract is up, so, you know, it's speculation that he may not come back. He denied it. The Cowboys offered him about close to $3 million in training camp, in the preseason. He denied it. Now, you look at the market for slot receivers, I think Jarvis Landry makes the most at $15 million a year. Now, I'm not saying that you got to pay him that much, because Jarvis Landry plays for the Browns, and it's a whole different dynamic over there. They use him in a different way than they use Cole. Cole Beasley should be making at least $5-6 million a year, in my opinion. He said in his tweet, utilization is more important to me than money. That's big. Now, did you catch that? Did you catch that? Utilization, to me, is more important than money. So you mean to tell me that all the Dallas Cowboys have to do is, and the Jones family, all they have to do is have a conversation with Cole Beasley and say, hey, this is the plan that we have for next year. You are entrenched in this plan. We plan to do this, that, and the third to put you more into this offense. And then we'll give you $4.5 million a year. I think Cole would take that. You know why? You know why? Not just because he tweeted that, but because the simple fact that Cole does want to play for the Dallas Cowboys still, but he didn't like what was going on. And I don't blame him. Cole Beasley has skills. He can catch the ball. He's a small guy that can slip past the defense. And when you have a dynamic wide receiver like Amari Cooper as your number one, you can't double team everybody. Those underneath routes should be open more times than not. Cole Beasley mentioned that I don't want to just get the ball a 2-minute drill when stuff is not playing. It's just us free balling at that point. I feel when he said that, I felt that. And it was similar to what I was talking about throughout the season when I said there's no way Amari Cooper comes in here and Cole Beasley's numbers go down. Yes, you have a dynamic receiver, but you don't have to throw him the damn ball every time. Spread that shit out. And I'm going to tell you, every wide receiver that played on this team serves a purpose. And I'm going to go into that in a second. Just to give you a different perspective of what I'm trying to get at. A lot of people say that Cole might be gone. And he will be if the Cowboys don't make a decision. I don't understand why it's not that hard. Get Cole Beasley the ball. I don't want to see him just have two catches in the game. Don't throw it to him just in 2 minutes. Give him the ball when it matters. He's been a warrior on third downs. Look at Dak Prescott's rookie year. Now, I don't have the numbers in front of me right now, but Cole Beasley had, his numbers were way higher than they were this year in Dak's first season. And did we not go 13-3? Do you know what happens to a team when you utilize players? What else happened in 2016? What players in 2016 had better years in 2016 than they didn't have this year? Oh, I mentioned him in my last live stream. Rod Smith. Rod Smith played a lot in this offense in 2016. You remember when we were doing a lot of screenplays. He was catching the ball in the backfield. He was running the ball. And even when Zeke Elliott missed those 6 games a year later, they utilized him. When we had Keith Smith being the fullback, a converted linebacker, they utilized him in the game too. They did some things with him. He actually scored a touchdown. Well, have we seen Jameis Olawale outside on a couple of plays blocking? You have, in my opinion, you have a dynamic fullback on this team that can catch out the backfield. He can run the ball like C.J. Anderson. Like C.J. Anderson, you know, the guy that just whooped your ass and ran in for a touchdown and you couldn't stop him? That guy. Jameis can do what he can for the Cowboys. And he can block as well. The Raiders knew how to use him. But, of course, when John Gruden came, he had his own agenda, so that's why a lot of players left. So, explain to me why we have all this talent, we don't use it. Now, Rico Gathers, by no means is a world beater. He will never be elite because he won't ever get that chance, I don't believe, unless a team picks him up and whatever. But he still has a lot to learn. He's a converted basketball player, and, you know, those growing pains, even though he's been on this team a few years, it still takes time. You're basically trying to tell me you're trying to cram a lifetime of football into a season. You just can't do that. And, you know, but you still got to give Rico a chance. Don't just throw the ball one time and then he missed the ball and then you expect him to... The boy confidence ain't there. I said this before. Look at the tight ends. Blake Jarwin ain't bust a grape until you gave him a chance. You give these guys a chance. You let them do them. And results happen. Results. Now, I'm not going to be too long-winded with this. I just had to clarify this. I just wanted to chat. I just wanted to preach to y'all right quick. But Look at where we're at, Cowboys Nation. Look at where we're at. We have the pieces on this team. Now, let's add a safety. Let's get a better offensive coordinator in here. Somebody that can, call the plays. I wish that they would have got somebody outside, but it looks like Jason Garrett might do that. But like I said, that's not solidified yet. They're going to use Kellen Moore right now as a placeholder because they gotta coach this offseason. But right now, when I look at what we have right now, you gotta do your due diligence. Other teams are doing great things with less. So the Cowboys have to do their due diligence and utilize what they have on the team. Because what does other players on other teams say about this Dallas Cowboys? Hey, I may not like the Cowboys, but I respect a lot of guys on that team. They got some talent on that team. They know what the problem is on the outside of the team, but why can't we fix this internally? Why? You keep messing around, Jones family, and you're going to lose Chris Richard too. Now, Christian Richard ain't no puppet. Chris Richard ain't like Jason Garrett. See, Jason Garrett is just a pawn in the Jones clique. That's what it is. It's cliquish. It's like a popularity contest. I would love for Chris Richard to take Jason Garrett's spot if Jason Garrett don't put up next season. Hell, I want to see Chris Richard be the defensive coordinator next season and have Marinelli just be there to help him and just still be there. Kind of like what they did with Monty Kiffin when he was defensive coordinator. Marinelli came in. They didn't fire him. They just kind of just lowered, him until he just withered away. I don't even know when Monty Kiffin left. He kind of just went out the back door and was like, okay, he gone. So, but like I said, I'm okay with John Kitna. I think that he can help Dak. I really think so. I think that what they should have done and what they still should do is find a veteran quarterback out there that can help Dak on the field as well. Because to me, Moore is better. And that's not a pun on Kellen Moore. I mean actual M-O-R-E, not M-O-O-R-E. I need Moore, but not Kellen. I need somebody that can just be that person to be like, look, Dak, I got you. I'm going to take you under my wing, bro. We got this. I see the talent that you possess. Let's work on your mechanics. Let's work on your footing. Let's work on your timing with these receivers. Let's work on you looking off the receiver, not looking at him before you throw the ball. Glance, look this way, glance this way, look that way, and then turn around and throw the ball there. So the defense can't anticipate what you're about to do. So these are the things I want you guys to think about. So I'm going to end this right here. I just wanted to talk about the Joneses and what they're doing right now. Some of the decisions, I don't understand what they're doing. Some of it doesn't have any rhyme or reason. Some of it, may kick them in the ass at some point, but let's hope it doesn't. But like I said, it's still early in the off season. There's still time for different things. Like I said, since they have to coach this off season, they're not this weekend, so they're not really they got their scouts at the Senior Bowl this weekend, and some of them are at the Pro Bowl. So they're jucking and jiving and doing different things right now. So when they come back together, and hopefully they can make the right decisions for this team, because if you want this team to be successful, you got to do the right thing. And that's just where I'm at with that. So thanks again, all my subscribers. I appreciate you guys. As we head further into this off season, I will actually be doing some different things with the channel this off season outside of Cowboys football. So those of you, well, a lot of you, probably all of you, don't know this about me, but long time ago, I used to have my own little roundtable show, and this is way before I was a YouTuber. I just used to do it with a regular camera. I never really, because I used to be shy, so I never wanted to be, put on Front Street like that, like I am now. It's crazy how I am where I am, because I would have never done this before. I never had the confidence to do that, because this YouTube thing is, you're vulnerable. You're very vulnerable. Everything that you say is scrutinized. It's almost like I might as well be a player, because you're scrutinized for everything. But I am gonna add some wrinkles. I'm thinking about bringing back my roundtable show, and not just talking about football topics, talking about just life stuff, because you guys know I got your back. I'm all for the upliftment. Anything that you got, and guess what? I will live stream it. That way, I will take any questions that you have or any topics that you want to talk about based on. So how I'm gonna set it up is I'm gonna have conversations that I talk about. We're gonna have a topic, so it may be me and 2 other people, me and 3 other people. May have guys and girls, just coming from different perspectives, depending on what topic we're talking about. That's how I want to do it. Now, my only thing is just getting certain people together for it, but I may actually have people Skype in to do it, or I might have people in my little man cave here. I got 2 seats here, so I can do that. Yeah, so I'll have my camera set up over here on the wall so it'll show the whole room. So we'll just be sitting here talking. I'll have my little mic hooked up, and that way, you know, like I said, I'll be the host, and I will be basically talking to you guys. And as you guys, the messages pop up in the live stream. If you guys have something, and if it's something that I think that should be talked about, I'll speak on it to the panel, and we could go from there. So let me know what you guys think about that. I'm definitely going to incorporate that. So, you know, just to spice things up for the off season, switch it up, switch gears a little bit, get away from football, and then, you know, we'll always talk about the Dallas Cowboys, because, you know, there's never a dull moment with these Cowboys. There's always something to talk about. I will be doing, like I said, the mock drafts and things of that nature, going over these guys. I'll wait till after the Super Bowl to get into that. But yeah, so thanks again, you guys. It's your boy E2 Blue, always keeping it real. Talk to y'all soon. Have a great evening.